Welcome to Dream Project One. So last week we identified what you're offering and who it's for. And this week we're going to use that information to clarify your brand identity and understand the need gaps of your specific niche and start to think about how you can attract your target audience. So I'll just get to start out by asking you some questions to help you clarify your brand identity. What are you really selling? So, what's at the core of what you're offering? What feelings are you helping your audience experience? Humans buy things based upon emotional needs. So, what emotional needs does your product or service fulfill for them? And it doesn't have to be life altering. It can be the need for entertainment or for the convenience of web design, but there's always a feeling behind the need. So the feelings that you're offering are the core of your brand values. And that's what you're really offering here. That's what you're really selling. And you'll be weaving those feelings into all your offers, all your imagery, all your marketing, all your messaging, everything. And it's something that you're going to refer back to again and again as you grow your business. So, what are the words that come to mind that describe what you're offering, that describe your services, that describe your products, that describe your business? And what are the feelings behind those words? Who are you? Why do people specifically want to do business with you? And why do they like you? What do they like about the way you run your business? Why do they like your personality? Why do you resonate with them? What other interests do you have that paint a fuller picture of yourself? And how would you describe yourself to a prospective client or customer? What's your vibe? This deep dive into your uniqueness is a critical step in distilling down your niche. Someone's personality, for example, maybe there's a minimalist designer and same industry, another designer is like a big, rowdy, glam designer. They're completely different vibes and they're going to attract completely different niches. So by clarifying who you are and what your vibe is, it's going to help you understand exactly who you want to do business with and how to attract them. Who is this for? Who is your specific niche? What specific groups of people do you want to do business with? Who are your ideal clients or customers? I call this group of people, your clients and customers, your ideal audience. And that refers to anyone that you're trying to attract for business. How could you narrow that group down? And are there subgroups within that group? Who are they? For example, let's say you're a personal trainer and you want to help people get into shape, but let's be specific. You're 45 and you love showing people in your age range that they can still reach their peak fitness goals at any age, really. And you're also gay and you prefer to work with gay men since your lifestyle resonates with their lifestyle. And you're super fun and you're sassy and you're positive and you tend to attract people who appreciate that about you. You're athletic, but you're not intimidating. And you want to teach people how to work out in the privacy of their home. So your ideal clients are, shocker, gay men in their midlife who want to get in shape and want it to be entertaining, and they need to work out at home. So some of these people may be approaching 40, some may be approaching 50 or 60, but they're all trying to get into the best shape of their lives. And they're looking for a fun and convenient way to bring some fitness into their everyday experience. So it's about fun and it's about convenience and it's about feeling seen. So the more specifically you can point out your ideal audience, the more those people are going to feel recognized by you and feel connected to your messaging and connected to what you care about. And that's what you're really trying to create. We're trying to create connection. Okay, let's get specific. Let's take some time to consider some core questions. Challenges. What is your ideal audience currently experiencing? What challenges do they have? And what goals are they working towards? Needs. What emotional needs are you fulfilling for them? Bonus question. Do they know what they need? Sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're not even aware of the underlying issues. So that's a good one to think about. Are they aware of the solutions that you have for them? That might be a good thing for you to kind of dig into as well. What are your solutions? Demographics. What's their age range? What's their location, their gender, their occupation, their education level, their income? All of those demographics are important because it's going to help you narrow things down. Psychographics. What are their values? What do they care about? What other interests do they have? And what other brands do they like? What media do they follow? And what do they believe that they deserve for themselves? Behaviors. What do they spend their time doing? What channels do they frequent? Are they hanging out on YouTube? Are they on the gram? Are they on LinkedIn? What are they doing every day? What are they doing on their weekends? What other interests do they have? Values. What values do you share with them? I kind of tie this into the who do you want to work with situation. What kinds of people do you want to work with or serve? I'll use myself as an example. I like working with people who are fun and like maybe a little ballsy and perhaps a little feral, but people who value passion and they're drawn towards creativity and entertainment and personal development and healing and self-expression, because those are all arenas that I feel comfortable with. And while I could go after a big tech client and charge like $20,000 a gig, I don't want to work with a big tech client. And I want to work with people who I vibe with and who I want to spend time with. So it's something important, something to keep in mind. So do you see how we're using these questions to get super clear about who specifically you want to attract? Let's just do a few more questions here. Okay, let's flip our focus back to you. Why do your clients want to work with you? What life experiences did you have that would make you want to help a specific group of people? What makes you unique, personally and professionally? What makes your business and the way you run it different? For example, I'm pretty like organized and professional in the way I organize my files and my workflow. I'm pretty uptight in that way, but I'm also real down to earth and casual and pretty forthright in the way that I speak. And it is real talk. And some people love that about me, and some people can't hang with that. And that's great because it helps me clarify my identity and understand who I want to work with and who I don't. So, how could you provide a better service than your competitors? And maybe it's not better, maybe it's just better for a specific group of people. And maybe it resonates better with them and they resonate more with your words and your values and your marketing and your vibe. What expertise do you bring to the table? So, how could you narrow down your ideal audience based upon your specific areas of expertise? How could you get more specific about who you're trying to attract? So, for example, I'll use the fishing lesson. So, two fishermen go out fishing, and neither of them have any experience. One big guy, big fisherman guy, gets a big boat, and he's like, I'm going to get all these fishing rods, and I'm going to get all these different kinds of bait. I'm going to get this little feathery one, and this little jingly-dingly thing, and I'm going to get this pink one, and this green fluffy thing. And he just gets all the gear and motors out to sea and goes fishing. And the other fisherman's like, I want mahi-mahi. So he figures out what temperature waters do they like to hang out in? What time of year are they going to be there? What kind of bait do they like? He studies the mahi-mahi. And then he figures out when he needs to go fishing, where they're going to be, what time, what they like. And when they both come back, they both got big, heavy loads. And big fisherman's like all stoked because it's heavy and he's reeling it in. He's like, yeah, mud load of fish. And when he brings it in, it's primarily seaweed and a shark and some tires and a bunch of other shit he doesn't want. And very little fish that he actually wants to eat. And Our boy fisherman pulls in a bunch of mahi mahi because he had a plan and he dialed in exactly who he wanted to attract. So I'm sure you can see the kind of symbolism of like getting a lot of things that maybe you really didn't want that client or customer, or maybe that's not really who you were trying to attract in the first place, or maybe it was just a bunch of fluff, and filler, and it didn't pan out anyway. So be strategic and get really clear about who you want to attract.